Welcome to this brief tutorial on popular versus scholarly sources. When writing a paper or creating a project for your class, you will often need to do research. But how do you know which types of sources you should use? Sources will generally fall into two categories: popular or scholarly. Popular sources can also sometimes be referred to as non-scholarly, and scholarly sources are sometimes referred to as academic sources. How can you recognize a popular source? Popular sources are meant to entertain or inform. They usually contain glossy, colorful pages with lots of advertisements. They are written in everyday language and are more for the general public. They usually contain little to no citations. If there are citations, they will be more informal, such as according to the Surgeon General. Some examples of popular sources are the New York Times, Psychology Today, The New Yorker, The Atlantic, Newsweek, National Geographic, and Popular Science. A scholarly source is material that is written by academic scholars in a particular field. It is intended to be shared with other scholars and prospective researchers. This shared knowledge can then contribute to new research findings and theories. Scholarly sources can come in many different formats, such as books from academic publishers, peer-reviewed journal articles, and reports from research institutes. So how can you recognize a scholarly source? Scholarly sources are made to present current research. They usually consist of plain text and often contain charts, labels, and graphs. They are written in formal language and often contain field-specific terms. Their target audience is more for professionals, faculty, and students in the field, and they will always include formal citations. One example is the Journal of Psychology. Resources come in different types and different formats and can consist of books, articles, and websites. Books can be considered scholarly or non-scholarly. One of the ways to tell if a book is scholarly is by looking into who published the book. A lot of university press publishers, such as Oxford University Press, are considered scholarly because they have gone through a rigorous publishing process and have been extensively reviewed. Some of the strengths of books are that it can provide a brief introduction or overview for your topic, or you might find a book about your topic where it goes in depth. Articles can also be scholarly or non-scholarly. Non-scholarly articles are more meant to inform or entertain the public. Think of magazines and newspaper articles. Their language will be informal, and you will often find advertisements in the middle of the pages. Scholarly articles are meant for professors, students, and researchers within the field. They will be text-heavy and contain charts, tables, and graphs. Their purpose is to present research findings. Scholarly articles are what your professors will mainly want you to use as your sources in college. Some of the strengths of articles are that they can tell you what the current conversation is for your topic, or even the current research. Websites can be scholarly or non-scholarly. However, to determine if a website is scholarly, you would have to extensively evaluate it. You will mostly find non-scholarly websites. Some of the strengths of websites are they can inform you about public opinions and information for your topic. Misinformation and fake news run rampant on the internet. Therefore, it is important for you to carefully evaluate sources on websites. So, which sources should you use for your assignment? Most college and university level papers or projects will require the use of scholarly sources. Be sure to check with your professor and read over your assignment description to determine if you are allowed to use popular sources for your research assignment. If you cannot use popular sources in your assignment, you can still use them in the early stages of your research to gain background information and find out what the current conversation is for your topic. So, you might be asking yourself, how can you find credible sources your professors want you to use for your research assignments? You can start by accessing library resources available through lonestar.edu. At the top of the page, you will see the word Libraries. Click on it and it will take you to the library website for the overall Lone Star College system. Scroll down under Start Your Research. This is where you can find most of the resources the LSCS libraries offer. The Find Articles tab is where you can find the research databases that have been separated by subject for you. The Find eBooks tab provides books that are popular and scholarly. The Search the Catalog tab is where you can find access to the physical books, DVDs, and CDs the libraries have on their shelves. Next, I will show you how to find popular and scholarly sources in the research databases. So we are going to select the Find Articles tab, and for an example topic, we are going to search for deforestation. Let's look in the science and technology databases, since deforestation seems to align with the subject of science. You will see the research databases are further separated by type. Since we're looking for a journal article on deforestation, let's select the drop-down arrow next to the word Articles. The type of search we're doing will generally work in most databases. Let's select the first database, Academic Search Complete, to begin our search. It is a comprehensive database that covers most of the subjects. In the search bar, let's start with a general search for deforestation. Then let's scroll down to the section titled Limit Your Results and select Full Text, so it shows us only what we have access to in the database. As you can see, we have over 6,000 search results. The search results contain both popular and scholarly sources. On the left side of the page, you'll notice various ways to filter your search results. Let's scroll down to Source Types to filter for scholarly or popular types of sources. If you want to look for popular sources, select magazines or newspapers. If your search requires you to use only scholarly sources, select academic journals. If your professor requires you to use scholarly peer-reviewed articles, which are scholarly articles that have gone through a rigorous publishing process, select academic journals and the peer-reviewed button. These types of scholarly sources are of higher quality for your research assignments in college. Thank you for watching this brief tutorial on popular versus scholarly sources. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact your librarian.